It's wonderful to be here at the library, and we really appreciate the invitation. We are the Back Bay Ringers, as Mike said, Boston's community handbell ensemble, and what you see tonight is just a subset of the Back Bay Ringers. We have 16 ringers and play with a whole lot more bells and other instruments, but we'll tell you more about that later. Throughout tonight's performance, we're going to be weaving together our rendition of familiar Christmas carols with a few tidbits about handbell history and lore. You'll have a chance to ask questions too, so please be thinking about those and don't be shy. Many of our pieces are very short and we have a lot we want to tell you. So please, if you can restrain the urge to burst into applause, wait to clap until the very end of our presentation tonight. We're looking forward to sharing our music with you.
and wanted to talk to you a little bit about handbells and ringing in this country what we call English handbells, regardless of where they're made. They were first developed as a practice instrument in England, maybe in they think the 16th century, as a way for people who rang the tower bells in the cathedrals to practice what we call change ringing, as a fun thing to do, a musical exercise. They would ring peals of all the tower bells and run through variations in those ringing patterns, sometimes up to 6 hours. And you can imagine that could annoy the neighbors when practicing. So they found they could make handbells similar to these, but with leather handles in England that were tuned to single notes, and they'd practice in pubs or in their homes. And after a while, they decided they could play other tunes as well. And it became an instrument in its own right.
It doesn't. It's a good try. My name is Saly Meredith. I've been ringing handbells since 1981. I started in a church choir in Illinois and then went to a church choir in Wisconsin, and then I was a founding member of Madison Area Concert Handbells in Madison, Wisconsin in 1997, and then when I retired, I moved to Boston, which most people don't do, but I did. Not most people. And now I play since 2012, January 2012 with VBR. The first use of bells in the 19th century, there were bell bands, which would be kind of groups of people who would get together and play for fun, like a choral group. P.T. Barnum hired a bell band from England, dressed them up in lederhosen, and called them the Swiss bell ringers. And someone said, but people will be able to tell because they can't speak German or French. And Barnum said, with their accents, nobody will be able to understand them anyway. The Ringling Brothers Circus also had a set of bells, and they were played by the clowns. So in this century, most handbell ringing started with church groups, however, and then community choirs like ours started within the last 15 to 20 years. There's one group in the United States that just celebrated its 30th anniversary. They're probably the oldest. But it came to us from England, not Swiss.
My name is Amanda Kosloski. I have been ringing handbells off and on for about 14 or 15 years, and I am one of the newest members of Back Bay Ringers. I just started ringing in September. I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of handbells coming to America, and specifically Boston. Up until about the early 20th century, most Americans encountered handbells in the context of vaudeville. In 1902, Beacon Hill resident Arthur Nichols and his daughter Margaret traveled over to England to visit the Whitechapel Foundry. The Nichols family was involved with the reactivation of the tower bells in Boston's Old North Church. Margaret's peals impressed the head of the Whitechapel Foundry that he presented her with a small set of handbells which he actually brought back to Boston. Margaret, who later married Arthur Shercliffe, who was the landscape architect who designed Boston's Esplanade and the restoration of colonial Williamsburg, became quite the handbell enthusiast and founded the very first community handbell ensemble. Known as the Beacon Hill Ringers, it was made up of Nichols and Shercliffe family members and Beacon Hill friends. And members of Margaret's family actually still ring handbells on Beacon Hill each Christmas Eve. Back Bay Ringers was delighted this year to actually send a quartet ensemble, a lot like this one, to play for an event actually at the Nichols house. Figure out my left from my right. Yep.
Yes, it is. So even though it looks like we're playing 10 individual instruments up here, a set of handbells is actually considered one single instrument, sort of like 15 people playing the piano at once. The Back Bay Ringers full ensemble plays on almost 6 octaves of bronze handbells. And we also perform with 6 octaves of aluminum choir chimes. A small sample which we've brought along with us tonight. In fact, we're going to play our next piece on the choir chimes, Silent Night. First we'll play it on bells and then on chimes so that you can hear the difference in mood that it creates. The choir chimes, they're made of aluminum. And they have a more pure tone.
We're going to take a little poll. Would you like it better?
I think the chimes have.
One of the most exciting things about playing handbells is the relative youth of this instrument. New music is being written for the instrument all the time, and new techniques are being developed too. We're going to do a little Vanna White moment here and have the ringers show you some of the techniques. You might catch us in a shake, or a thumb damp. During a full BBR concert, you might also see us do marts on the table, which we can't do very forcefully because we don't have a pad today.
Try me as a pad?
Sure.
Oh, that's not very good.
Or you're going to have, one of you, Sally, you're going to have to put one bell down, or plucks. You might see us using mallets. In this case, we'll use a pencil. Or even doing tower swings. Gyros. You might need the pencil back. Or even, the newest technique, which is called a singing bell. Maybe with a pencil, I don't know if it'll work.
Let's do several of them together.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Which chord do you want? What, you got G?
That's not hard enough. We have to bring our mallets next time.
What's the normal tool to do that?
A wooden,
Bell.
wooden.
They do it with balls, yes? Yeah, same
Well,
thing.
yeah.
It's the same.
Mhm.
It's like running your finger around the rim of a wine glass.
So now, it's your turn. What questions do you have of us tonight? Yes?
I've got two questions. Are you wearing the gloves so the bells don't get tarnished?
Partly,
Because they're brass, right? Or are
They're
they-
bronze.
They're bronze.
Bronze, okay. 'Cause they would-
partly because it's a little bit of a cushion for the people who are holding to, particularly
Like
the
the
heavy
bells.
bells. Also because it's tradition, it's costume, uniformity, and because some of the bells have leather handles which degrade from sweat and oil.
And when you go like this to the bells, you ever bruise yourself? Say you have somebody new and they're like trying to mute their bell and bang,
Let's speak from a bass ringer.
new people.
We do have bells in the lower octave that weigh about 11 pounds.
Oh.
So you do end up with some
Like a
bruising.
bruise. I guess what if you got overzealous, like somebody new is like, them,
Yeah.
the next day they wait.
But the truth is, new people tend not to damp. Most people think about starting the note and they don't think about stopping the note.
Yeah.
So it's harder to get new people to damp at all.
Oh, okay.
Now, we had an interesting discussion with one of the men who wasn't able to stop one of the big bells, because they don't have the anatomical advantages.
All right, Sally. Do we have any other questions? Yes.
Oops,
No, go ahead.
how many, I was going to ask you, is it an all-women's group, because there are women here?
No, we have I think we have 5 men and our director is male. It just, in the holiday season, we probably do 10 to 12 of these, and people sign up for 3 or 4 of them, and it's a random group each time. Yeah.
So are you committed to a bell sound like a person has a voice range, like a soprano, baritone, and that kind of thing? Are your bells always the same, or do you vary?
Some groups do stick with one bell, one position we call it, which would be 2 bells, but in our group, we try to
jump around
rotate.
a lot.
Although Amanda specializes in the bass,
That's
area,
right.
and there is sort of a favoritism to not ring in the bass. Some people are capable of the bigger bells.
Because of the strength.
And then the techniques are different in every position.
Over here?
Oh, like the bells ring longer in the higher notes?
They ring longer than lower notes.
Oh, they ring longer in the lower notes. That's
They're
nice.
harder to damp. These, won't last but a few seconds. But the bass ones will go till Thursday.
Yeah.
Is there a different, you said originally in England, the bells are made with leather handles. Why do they switch to plastic? Or what
Probably
does that mean?
cheaper.
They last longer.
They're more durable.
Yeah.
Is it a different sound?
No. Well, actually, these bells, which are made in the United States, do sound quite different than the ones made in England, but not because of the handles, but because of the castings themselves. And also the striker is different. Ours are rubber on a bronze post that runs in a single axis. Theirs run in a single axis. We actually do own a set of Whitechapel bells made in England as well. And they have leather clappers.
Leather clappers, and
As
those
well.
big ones are felt.
Yeah.
So we're going to take one more right now, back in the back.
How much do the bells cost?
Believe it or not, this little one is, well, we have our Malmark representative here tonight, perhaps. Dan Moore is a representative from Malmark, which are the types of bells we've brought with us. What would a C5 be?
275, 300.
For one bell.
And the large ones go in the thousands. So if you find yourself with cash, not knowing what to do, we can help you with that complication. We will stay after the formal presentation is over up here at the table, and we'll be happy to take more questions then. So if there's something burning in your head, don't worry, we'll try to help you out a little bit.
The Back Bay Ringers like to think that, along with dozens of other community handbell ensembles around the country, we're helping usher our instrument into the next phase of its evolution. In particular, we're pleased to continue bringing handbells to Boston, a city so instrumental in our in our instrument's history. This year, we're even playing a gig at Margaret Surecliffe's childhood home. Our organization has commissioned 3 works for our instrument, and we annually co-sponsor the Boston Handbell Festival each May, which is a concert bringing together the region's best ensembles, with the proceeds of that concert of a free will donation going towards the purchase of chimes for use in schools, which is becoming much more and more popular these days.
Such a polished presentation. As a full group of 16 people, we perform a concert series at Christmas time and again in the spring. You can see the announcement there. We still have 2 concerts on Saturday at 2 in the afternoon in Framingham and at 7:30 in the evening in Waltham. We'd be delighted to see any or all of you at one of those concerts. We are 4 times as good as 4 of us because well, approximately, yes. You know, it's just a much bigger sound. It's different instruments. We have some drums and some percussion, and we play a lot of stuff on chimes. You could hear the Whitechapel, the other brand of bells. So there is a lot more to it. Plus, we have some good-looking guys. Okay, the last song we're going to play for you today is We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and we need a little bit of help with this. Do we have a brave volunteer? All right. Okay.
Come on over here.
Here you're playing in the treble.
The last thing.
That's right, what's your name?
Carolyn.
This is Brave Carolyn. Now I'm going to show you what to do. Like this. You start lowering your voice like that.
All right.
And then you stop.
Probably sooner than you want.
Okay, well, you have to stop with us, so you have to watch the movement, and you'll see how that is.
Okay, cool.
You're only going to play, do you read music?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, lovely.
Sally will point to you, and that's when you
A
play.
bonus.
Is that the red note?
Nope.
No, it's actually a C, and it's this C right here that's
Okay.
not on the page.
Oh.
But you're going to play it on the repeat. So we're going to do the repeat. We added repeat dots. We go to there.
And do it
And you
again.
play it the second time
The
over.
very last note.
Yeah.
That's it.
The best note.
So give it a try so it won't.
Now you wanted me to do.
Oh, and
Natural.
you're spilling the water. You have to.
Sally, let's be positive here.
You need to hold it. That's
good.
And she even dance, which beginners are not here.
And just watch Sally.
hurt you.
You won't hurt me. I might hurt you.
Okay, just watch Sally and
She'll
the
point
music,
you.
and I'm going to cue you as well.
Oh, all right.
I'll point you. You get the cue. Okay.
That's why I was going. Copy of our Perpetual Motion CD, which is original bell works and classical transcriptions. So that's for you for being brave. So that concludes tonight's program. But if you'd like to purchase one of our CDs, or if you'd just like to come up and take a close look at the instrument or ask us other questions, you are most welcome. Most of all, thank you for taking the time to spend a holiday moment with Back Bay Ringers.